great. So, welcome back, everyone, after we started on the recording. So, we're going to go through some principles here. These are really important when you're talking about optimizing in your local area. So, first of all, I want you to take this advice now and go and check this after the meeting. Appear where your customers are looking. This is so simple, but so many companies don't do this. You have to check where your company appears on Google, Google Business, Apple Maps, and Siri. Now, many times the address isn't quite right and it's listed in the wrong place, which will affect your driving directions, or the phone number's wrong, or something like that. So, the first thing is the basics to check that it's already there and it's already listed. And if it's not, then you need to list it on Google Business Profile, and you need to also list it on Apple Maps Connect. Okay. So then there's three letters or three words that you need to remember after today, and they're really important. They're important because Google is not human. You can't just say to Google, oh, this is this great beauty salon and it's so much better than everyone else and it's down the road somewhere. No, Google needs data and facts. So if you're listing your business at number 21 Main Street, and actually it's listed somewhere else as 22 Main Street on a different directory, that will affect your ranking in Google Maps because it won't think you're bona fide. Oh, we have a new entrant. Hi, welcome. So, what you need to do is you need to make sure that when you're listing your business anywhere online, you have to make sure that it's you've got the correct name, address, and phone number. Sounds obvious, but so many clients don't have that sorted. So after this meeting, I want you to go and check, is it the wrong address? Is it a non-verified profile? Is your phone number changed and doesn't match now? Those things are all important. If you're in directories like Yell.com, just make sure it's the same. And of course, with Google Business, you have to be verified. So now we'll go into why Google Business is important. Why do some companies appear higher than others? There's a lot of factors, and these are just some of them, but the most important ones are consistency across the web, reviews. You need to have a considerable amount of reviews, a good score, and you need to have frequency of reviews. There's no good having one review every 2 years. It has to be frequent. And Google's looking for that, and it's looking for your overall review score as well. Fresh and regular updates, because Google Business Profile is actually a social media channel and it needs to be used as one. And also things like how long you've been established and consistent citations. So you can really win in this area if you make some changes. So most of you probably have Instagram accounts and you're probably already posting on Instagram, you're probably posting on LinkedIn. A lot of people neglect Google Business Profile, and you can repurpose content that you're using on other channels and put it on your Google Business Profile, because that way you're showing Google that you're relevant and that your Google Business Profile is maintained. And you can use keyword rich copy. So, for example, this is a hair salon and they're talking about what they do. There's nothing life-changing here, nothing too creative, just simple posts about what you do with keywords in there. So if you're a window cleaning specialist, for example, you're going to be posting twice a week with, you know, we're specialists in this particular technique of window cleaning. Here's an example before and after, something like that. You don't have to change the world, but you have to do it, and you have to do it regularly and be consistent because Google will look at that. And this is how you actually do an update. So when you go in your business profile on Google, you have all these options to choose from. And it's just this, add update. It's very simple. Anyone can do it. And I would encourage you to start posting twice a week. You can use a scheduling tool. I use one called Metrical. It's really good. And I would use keywords designed to get local customers. So for example, if you're a fitness studio in Manchester, you need to make sure that people are seeing those keywords in there. Okay. And the other tip, and this applies to anything that you do online ever, is think mobile first. So you're doing your posts, you need to make sure that it looks okay on mobiles. Because that's just another tip there. And check your Google Business Profile on a mobile, because about 80% of traffic for Google Business comes through mobile. Okay, so now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about reviews. Um, it'd be great to know some of the businesses that you're in so that I can really advise best. So, anyone want to share what kind of business they're in? Look, okay, I'm just going to stop sharing for a moment. That's great. Okay, real estate businesses, perfect. Marketing agencies, that's great. Okay, so now I'm going to show you this tool for getting more reviews. And as I've said before, it's really important that you actually drive these reviews, not just because you'll look more credible to customers, but because when you have more reviews, Google will put you higher on local searches. So this is the tool that I use with clients to help them get this visibility and make it really smooth and easy for them. I work with real estate agents, with Pilates studios, gyms, etc., and service-based industries to do this. So when you have a volume of customers, it can be hard to manage your reviews. And I would always advise that you reply to every single review. Now, sometimes it's easy to forget. Well, this puts them all in one place and helps you do that easily. And we even have AI in here. So let me show you how you can reply with AI in no time at all. This will generate something based on what the customer has actually written. So look, they said he's gone with his wife. And it said, we're thrilled that you and your wife enjoyed the session. Da, da, da. So you just check it, make sure it's okay, and then you send. But obviously, the biggest thing is getting the reviews in the first place. And that's where this tool really comes into its own because what we do is we can help you get reviews. So we will basically have three different ways of getting those reviews: SMS, email, or WhatsApp. And we can send a request for a review to your customers automated using your data. And it's very simple to set up. But what we do is we don't just ask for a review, okay? Because if we ask for a review, what's going to happen is that some of the customers that are not happy will leave a review. And in fact, if you have, say, 100 customers a month, and you ask them all for a review without really knowing who they are first, the chances are the ones that are unhappy will be the first to leave the reviews. And you don't want that. So this system makes sure that you're asking those that are happy for a review and those that are unhappy, give them a forum to tell you their feedback before it goes public. And you can put anything right and save the customer relationship. So that's how we do that, like this. So we're sending customers to a page like this. How was your experience with Bootcamp Pilates Spain? And let's say it wasn't so good. You can't please all the people all the time. So let's say they gave you a two. This is what the customer would see. It's a journey that comes in privately. They can leave their feedback, their phone number, and you receive that privately. It doesn't go public. But on the other hand, let's say they are happy, which we hope most of them will be. Then you're going to ask them to leave a review on the platforms that you choose. Okay, so you can customize this page as well. You can have Google, Facebook, TripAdvisor, Trustpilot, and many others integrated. So back to the software, I'll just show you quickly how it works. So you've got all these integrations here. So in real estate, it's useful as well because we do integrate with Booking.com and Airbnb. For general service-based industries, I would always recommend Google and potentially Trustpilot as well, depending on your industry. And of course, restaurants have got a bar using this, and they're really working on TripAdvisor at the moment. So you can choose and you can customize where you're sending customers. What this is not is fake reviews. That's absolutely not what you should do is write fake reviews. What it is doing is it's getting the best out of your customers because those that are happy tend to not leave a review normally. They just don't think about it. They're just busy getting on with their lives. So we message them and we ask them to leave that review. Those that are unhappy, often you can sort things out privately before they go public. So this is a really good tool for your reputation. The other thing which this does, which is really nice, is you can share on Facebook and Instagram in just one click, all branded with your colors and your logo. So like this, it will just generate what the customers said and it'll put it in a nice graphic with your brand, and you can change that coloring, have it however you want. And then you can share on your channels. Now, if you don't want to share on your feeds, but you just want the graphic, you just download it here. So that's how this works. It's very easy to set up and it really helps drive the reviews. I'll show you some analytics for this client. So this is the Pilates studio. So let's have a look. In the last 6 months, so they've got 32 new reviews. They got one negative and oh no, they didn't. No, they got zero negative. They got 32 positive, so that's really good. So yeah, so this is how it works, and it encourages that score to just go up. So that's my software, which I would encourage you to check out if you're in a service-based business. And just generally thinking about reviews is so, so important. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. Excuse me. Okay. So just one more thing. Even if you don't have that many clients, it's still really important to get reviews because at the end of the day, it's someone else talking about you, not you. And as part of this system, I also give these cards to clients, and they're really great because you can just use the card in the shop or in your place of work and you just tap it on their phone, and then this link comes up to leave a review, and it's perfect. So that's another thing. And if you start generating reviews now, within about 3 to 6 months, you'll be really ranking higher on Google. That's what my clients have seen. Okay, so let's go on to the next bit, which is talking about yourself, which is something some of us love doing, some of us hate doing. So I know a little bit about some of you, Stefan in real estate, Rohit in marketing, but what if you meet someone in a bar or in the gym or in an elevator and you need to just explain what you do in like half a minute? That's your opportunity to really connect with people on a level that makes them think, oh, well, that's different. Wow. Yeah, I'll take that person's number. I'll take their card. And this is obviously called the elevator pitch. You've all heard of it, I'm sure. But it's really important to be prepared to know how to talk about yourself as a business owner for wherever you are. Obviously, if you're going to a networking event, it's really important. Now, I run networking events in Marbella. And I've seen this in action, and the people that have worked on their elevator pitch tend to do very well. But it's not just for networking events, it's for the day to day. When anyone asks you what you do, you need to be ready to tell them and in a way that really works. So there's many ways of doing this. I'm just going to show you a couple of options. So imagine you just met someone. Here's option one. So I'm a real estate agent, specialize in luxury property on Costa del Sol. Okay, great. So this one is a little bit basic, does what it says on the tin, but when you've got thousands of real estate agents, does this really help you stand out? Not really. So this is option two. I specialize in helping international buyers navigate the Costa del Sol market without hitches or so a bit of background noise there. I don't know if you could maybe mute. Okay. And thanks to my network, I can even help them find properties that are often not on the market. So this is a bit better. This gives you a bit more to play with. And then option three, this is a much longer option. It's a much longer option, okay? So this one uses what I call my three-step framework for building your elevator pitch. I'm going to talk you through that in a minute. So let's say you're not in real estate and you're in another industry. I don't know, let's say it's beauty, for example. You can use these three steps and you will find it's so much easier to talk about yourself when you meet people that are going to be important for your business. So work out what problems you solve, first of all. And that sounds obvious. So say you're a window cleaner, you solve the problem of people having dirty windows. Well, that's not really what I mean. What I mean is, where do you add value? So it could be that you're a window cleaner, but You do your service within 45 minutes. So it's for time poor people and it's a high quality service. So something different about what you do and you're solving the problems for customers. So have a think about that before you even try to write your elevator pitch. Then you present the problem and the solution, give some real examples and add some personality. Okay, bit of background noise. Okay, so let's try this. Does anyone want to tell me what their business is? Let's see. What about Rohit? So Rohit has a marketing agency. Okay. So you've got to work out what problems you solve. And then you've got to give some real examples. So present the problem and the solution. So if we go back to this one, this is the third one. This is the example of this in practice. This guy's saying the problem here, you know how challenging it can be for international buyers. They've got language barriers, etc. Well, I specialize in helping those clients. So you've got problem and solution. Then you give examples. So just last week, I helped a family from the UK. So this can apply to any industry and it really works. The only thing is, I would say that you need to practice it quite regularly before you use it in real life because it needs to sound natural, not staged. Okay, so that's your elevator pitch. And it's very important. And then the other thing that's really important, as well as having a good business and being good at what you do, you need to express that very succinctly on your bios. So, for example, you've got Instagram bio, you've got your LinkedIn bio, and on Instagram, for example, you've only got 150 characters. So, how do you really get across what you do and follow the best practice for Instagram to find new clients? Well, this is one that I love. So, Sarah Blakely, as you will probably know, she's the founder of Spanx, great entrepreneur. Um, oh, sorry, I didn't see this. Inga, I have a Pilates reformer studio in Fuengirola. Great. Okay, so we can talk about that in a minute. Um, so Sarah Blakely, she's so famous that she doesn't really need to use the more obvious keywords because people know what she does. So she's injected a whole lot of personality here. Love chips, afraid to fly, refuse to give up my scrunchie. That's quite funny and nice. She doesn't necessarily need to use all that real estate to say, I do this, I do that. But she has put in there who she is and what her main things are that she's done. She's the founder of Spanx. But if you, for example, you're not that famous, you want to make it a bit more clear of what you do. So these are two yoga studio bios. Okay, so we've got Elements Yoga Space and Yoga Soul Manchester. They're both in Manchester. I just found them from searching. Have a think what you think of these two. There's no right and wrong, but they both do certain things quite well. They obviously have the keyword in there, yoga. Okay, so people looking for yoga in that area, they're more likely to find it on Instagram with that. And they both have a bit of personality. Okay, so this one, it's got its strap line there. Like, if you can breathe, you can do yoga. That's quite nice. And what I take from this is, oh, it's a yoga studio. Okay, I get it. Okay, it's very simple. This one, however, they've gone a bit more hard sell and they've got their trials out for 28 days. They've got their link tree and their USPs, yoga in the heart of Manchester, in-person classes. This yoga soul looks stronger to me, looks like it will convert more, but this one looks like it's more tailored to branding and giving that real ethos of yoga. So kind of depends on where you are in your journey of being established, what you put here in your bio. But for example, a Pilates Reformer Studio in Fuengirola, you need to have in there Pilates Reformer Studio Fuengirola. But then think about what makes your studio different. Is it that you do flexible classes? Is it that you do pregnancy classes? Or is it that, whatever it is that makes you different, that needs to go here as well. And I would advise you to inject a bit of personality too. So maybe it's a quote or maybe it's some nice expression, just so it's friendly and inviting. So I think I've got one more here. Yeah, so this is a beauty one. And I like this because it's so simple but powerful. So she's obviously a beauty therapist. She's put a category here. She's got the words beauty. She's put that she's award winning. So that really drives the attention. And she's niched down. So she's got London's most wanted salon lash and brow lamination specialist. So what your niche is, that has to be there as well. Okay, so it's a small space, but it's very important. So have a think about what you're doing on your bios. And then, obviously, the goal of what I'm teaching you today is not for you to become an overnight superstar on TikTok or YouTube, but it's very important that you speak with credibility on your social media channels because even if you don't directly get clients through social media, a lot of them will go and check you out on social media. And it's really important for you to have that space that just looks like what you're doing is true. You are actually doing what you say you're doing and gives people that reassurance that you are who you say you are, you know your stuff. So going back to your elevator pitch, I believe strongly that you can base everything from your elevator pitch. If you have an elevator pitch, and let's say, for example, pick another example, you are um, a dentist, okay, and you're a special dentist specialized in veneers. So if you've done your elevator pitch and you've identified that you stand for, modern techniques, innovation, pain-free treatment, then you can make those three things your content pillars. And that means it's just a fancy marketing way of saying your subjects that you talk about. Okay. So in this case, this example was someone who was in real estate and they stood for integrity in an industry where there are people that aren't always honest. They stand for integrity. They have expert market knowledge and they have a specialism, for example, in this case, in the area of Malaga. So once you know what you stand for, what your elevator pitch is, it's actually quite easy to come up with ideas for content. So you can at least create some ideas. You can use AI. So I put these ideas into AI, into ChatGPT, and I just said, give me some examples of content that you can use around these three pillars. And bang, 2 seconds, I get these ideas. You have to sense check them, but then you're not stuck for ideas. And you can use this as a basis to just write some content, 2 posts a week. That will do, you know? And that's great for people that don't actually have a social media presence at the moment, or they're not confident enough to do that. You can just think about what you stand for and take it all from there, rather than just trying to compete and be the next viral superstar. You want practical steps that are going to work. Okay, so the next steps then is you take your content ideas and you schedule weekly content using a scheduler tool. If you don't want to do it yourself, you can hire an agency to do that, no problem. But you can write it yourself and you can speed things up by using AI, but obviously read it through and check it before you post anything. Make sure that it does sound like you. Or you can hire an agency like, hi, we'll chat later. Um, and you just need to have regular posts around your content pillars. There's a lot more creative stuff you can do if you want to, but if you have these regular posts around your content pillars, you honestly can't go wrong because it will start to position you as someone that knows their stuff in this particular area. Okay, so that is the end of the masterclass. Just to let you know that this is the kind of services that I offer. So the visible reviews, I would advise everyone in a service-based business to try it because as we've seen, it really improves your visibility on Google. It's very inexpensive. I also offer Google Business Profile optimization, elevator pitch and copywriting, and social media packages, and they're very affordable. So if you're interested, feel free to message me or book a call with me. And of course, I'm talking about testimonials. I have to show you some of my testimonials. Um, don't underestimate the power of reviews. They're very important. So if you take one thing away today, take that away and start thinking of a system to get more reviews. And that's it. Thank you very much. So any questions, let me know. Anyone got any questions? Is it possible to meet me? Yes, I will send you my link for Calendly. Or if you're local, because I think you said, Inga, you're in Fuengirola, right? We can have a meeting, absolutely. Wellness brand, Stefan. Okay, great. Okay, wonderful. So, yeah, so if no one's got any questions, we can end this now, but feel free to check out my social media as well, which is Get Visible underscore agency. I hope you found it useful. I'd love to hear your feedback as well, so don't be shy. Please tell me. And yeah, amazing. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm not very good at reading the comments while I'm presenting. I have to apologize, but that's great. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And I'm going to send a replay out in about an hour or so. And yeah, feel free to keep in touch. So thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.